Hi. Welcome. Before I do anything else, so next Saturday is July 4th and we are not having class. So it's just, they were like, do you want that as a holiday? I was like, that makes sense. It's not like we're all going anywhere or anything. So, but it's still nice to have a 1 week off. And then we have 1 week after that. Does somebody have a question? Okay. No. Okay. And then I haven't heard, I'll ask Kimberly about what happens next. I mean, show of hands, who thinks that they would sign up for the next round? So, see, that's good. And then I know Clinton Kristen's probably got to be like, oh, I think they're frozen. I just assumed that they were like, no, we're not doing it. So, but that's okay too, even if no, they're definitely frozen. So, so yeah, and you know, I think it is hard. I don't know, has it been hard on you, Ariana, to start as a new student on here, or has it seemed okay?
It seems pretty easy to just kind of jump in.
Okay, so that might be a thing too. I mean, there's certain people who we haven't seen, like Diane, Jean Chu, and
I put it more in the doorway.
Linda from who's in Florida. You know, some of those people, Yvonne and Monty, I haven't seen any of them. So, so this might be like our core group, and then we decide. But definitely, there's, I'm sure the gym and yoga studio owners are pretty disappointed because phase 4 did not include them. But I'm all about that because Florida and Texas. So, sorry, Texas. All right, I know. Okay, so we can get started. Anybody have any requests, physical or otherwise, this week? Body parts?
Yeah, I've got. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I've got some
Uh-oh, Olga, you froze.
bad knees and a bad like shoulder, which is why I haven't been on the mend.
Okay, so bad knees and a bad shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you kind of cut in and out. So what was there what would you like to say about your bad knees and your bad shoulder?
I want them to go away.
Okay. So yeah, we'll keep that in mind and see how we can work around that too, right? And get them stretched out. I've got there's some stuff today that if you need to like hold on to a wall so that you can do something and not worry about balance, and or do something but not do it as deeply as you might see someone else doing it, this is all good stuff because we're going to do like some crossed legs over, and that could be annoying to your knee. So just do it lightly and then test it out. Amy, what were you going to say?
I've been having a problem with this muscle right underneath my shoulder blade.
Rhomboid.
And if we could stretch that, that would be fantastic.
Okay. All right. All
Or
right.
even if after class you want to give me something that I can do on my own, that would be acceptable as well.
Yeah, sure. Both. It's fine. Eb, how are you guys? I didn't say hi.
We're good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm glad to see you.
Yes, always. Hips are always a welcomed area.
Yeah. My hips are tight, and I need that too. So I got that covered in today's thing. So yeah, definitely. Okay. All right. We'll get started. So I have a few favorite yoga books, and this is one is BKS Iyengar, Light on Life. There it is. And he wrote like Light on Yoga, Light on the Yoga Sutras. Then this one's Light on Life, which is like his kind of his last book. And it's just really, it depends on where you are in your life. But everything that I read plays into everything that's happening in my life right now. So this like universal, there's a lot of universal concepts. And so I was trying to think of what I wanted to teach about, and I started reading. And so there's extension and expansion. So one of my favorite quotes is, and I can't remember who wrote it, so don't ask me that. But we can Google it if we want to. My mind tells me I am nothing. My heart tells me I am everything. Between the two, my life flows. So that's why extension and expansion are both really important. So, and you always, always, always are extending and expanding from your core, right? So who we are is who we expand and extend out of. So extension comes from the intelligent brain, right? In this pose, I am stretching my leg back and my knee forward, right? That is something that I ask you to do in any pose. And that's also, this goes into, if anybody did listen to the Resman Menachem podcast, where he's talking about how we may have changed laws and changed our minds, but we really didn't change our bodies, right? And so until we start to address some of the trauma for everyone, then we won't really get to that place because of the vagus nerve and the psoas. So that's extension comes from the intelligent brain. Expansion comes from the intelligence of the heart. So I would say, like in this pose, I'm expanding every cell in every direction to create space and openness. So I might be in this pose saying, okay, I need to extend my leg back and my knee forward. But and then the next moment, once you get that set, like once you have figured out that part, then you can expand out. And out means that growth and expansion into something that looks really beautiful. So when I was in Denver, and I was teaching, but I went to a yoga class at a gym with my neighbor, and the best compliment anyone has ever given me in yoga. She said that doing yoga next to me was an inspiration. And it was because she had never seen anybody do poses that looked both really sturdy and steady, but also looked really beautiful and big and light. She had seen like gym yoga. Not that there can't be good teachers in gyms, okay. But when you get that quality, that's where everything opens up. That's extension and expansion at the same time. So then physically, when it talks about this, it says overstretching, and this is important because we all have this possibility where we are going to overstretch and then get hurt. Overstretching occurs when you lose the center or the core, right? So you're not extending out of something, you're just extending, and then you get hurt. He says, Iyengar, that each movement must be an art form. So if overstretching is exhibitionism, and then understretching is escapism. So you have to find the balance, right? You can't just like barely do the pose, but you can't do it so much that you hurt yourself. You've got to find the middle. And that's where extending from the core is always so useful. So it's not yoga that injures us, but it's the way that we do yoga sometimes that can cause injury. So, and that is something that people have talked about before, you know, like, oh, I got hurt in yoga. When you got hurt because you probably went into the wrong class, or your teacher wasn't paying attention, or, you know, you just were angry that day and you just decided you were going to do it extra hard. And this is the best part. Extension and expansion bring space. Space brings freedom. Freedom is precision, and precision is divine. Extension and expansion brings space. Space brings freedom. Freedom is precision. Precision is divine. And then there's one more part that I have to, I was looking at the book and I was like, ah. Okay. So I want you to apply this to all things that are going on in our lives right now. Everywhere you extend, you are going toward the cosmos. Your energy extends through the tips of your skin and beyond. This is the secret that martial artists use to generate extraordinary force. They do not punch a brick, they punch through it. Extend the energy of the asana out through your extremities. Let the river flow through you. Okay. I see that someone is deciding that he's going to get up and walk through my living room. I'm teaching yoga, FYI. I'm teaching yoga. Yeah. Okay. You're going to still walk through here. Or you're going to go the other way. All right. Professionalism at its best here. Okay. Here we go. You're still going to see him go that way. So, here we go. All right. So any questions on that before we get started? So we're definitely going to do some core work per usual. Every time I'm feeling hurt right now, like physically, I go back and do core work before I even bother with anything else. So, so we'll do some core work and then some hips. We'll get Amy's shoulder blade in there and work with Olga too. All right. So go ahead and take a nice seat. And then pull your buttocks out from beneath of you. And then take your hands to your rib cage, draw the ribs into the back body, pull the low belly in, and take your hands to your heart to Anjali Mudra. And coming into your breath, inhaling and exhaling. We'll do 3 silent ohms to start our class. So we'll do a deep inhale, deep exhale, and then we'll start our silent ohms. So take a nice deep inhale. Exhale all the way.
Okay. You want to shut that one down?
Inhale. Silent Om. Inhale. Extend and expand everything. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Silent Om. Creating an intention, setting an intention for your class. Maybe where you want this energy, this good energy to go out to, maybe a community, maybe one person, maybe a group, larger group of people. And then you can slowly start to open your eyes. Okay, so we're gonna do a test pose. Okay, so a test pose means it's the first one and I want you to see how this one feels so that when we go back to it later, you can see how much it's changed. So because it's the first pose, we don't wanna make it the hardest thing that we're doing. So, so you're gonna take one foot up and lift it in front of you. And then you can, I can barely do it, you know. So kind of holding on this way if you can. This is rock the baby. See if you can get yourself to sit up a little higher. And then very, very gently, you're just rocking a little. Because this is hard. Our bodies are taking in all the trauma of everything that's going on right now. So, you know, if you started out with less trauma in your life, I hope you're doing better. If you started out with a lot of trauma, then you just added a bunch of stuff. Okay, this feels a little bit better than it did at the beginning. All right, we can put that down. Okay, other side. Right, because I said this wasn't going to be easy. You can also just hold it this way. You don't have to try to get your elbow around. If you can, that's fine. Smiling. Good. Jeremy, see if you can flex your foot more. Make your foot active. Yeah, there you go. So this is nice. It starts to kind of get that back open a little. When we do it at the end, we'll lift the leg up and see if we can touch our nose to our toe or to our toes to our forehead. It'll be different, hopefully. Okay, we can put that down. All right, we're gonna do 10 perfect sit-ups. So you're gonna be on your back. So remember with the sit-ups that you don't want to pull your nose toward your knees. Your face will only go up like 2 inches, then you'll squeeze your belly more. So putting your nose higher and closer to your knees doesn't make a better pose. Okay, so take your hands behind the head, interlace the fingers, flex the feet and put your feet out like at a 90-degree angle, knees at a 90-degree angle. There you go, Lucy, that's better. Okay, now inhale here. See if you can exhale and squeeze your belly down into the floor. So we haven't even lifted yet, and this is already hard. Okay, so you're getting your back flat into the floor. And then inhale again. Exhale, lift your nose just 2 inches.
Now this is really hard. So if you can hear my voice kind of being jumpy, this isn't a big movement, but it's really hard. That was one. Okay, inhale, exhale up. The nose only lifts 2 inches. If you have a partner in the room with you, look over and make sure that their nose is not reaching toward their knees. Come back down. Inhale, exhale up. Down, inhale, exhale up. Good. Down, inhale, exhale up. Squeeze your belly down into the floor, flatten the back. Good, we have 5 more. Exhale up. Good, inhale down, exhale up. This is so hard. However, 8 sit-ups, so hard. Good, down, exhale up. Good, and we've got 1 more. Exhale up. And you can come back down. That was it. That was 10. That was a lot. Okay, and then we can roll over to the side. And you're gonna come up for 10, either 10 whole push-ups or push-ups with your knees down. So if you're gonna go full push-up, right? Especially for those of you who have, who don't know this, if you start in cat and then you put one leg out, you see how my butt is in the air? You have to keep your butt there as you lift the other leg. If you start out with both legs, sometimes what happens is this. See that? So you want to keep up here. All right, so then if you would like to, you can take knees down, but your butt is still going to be up, not here. Right? Okay, so 10 push-ups. And I'll let you guys go ahead and start so that you don't have to do too many. Amy, think more about your hips staying high and don't reach your nose down. Yes, that's better. Pull your stomach in. Think about your belly reaching up toward the sky. Okay, once you're done, down dog. So in down dog, you're working on getting that length now in your back, right? So there's a definite extension happening. And we've already sort of warmed up. So sometimes when we go into down dog, we are just barely starting class, but you can tell that we've already started working. So you can extend a little bit more, come forward, pop the tail again, reach back, then grip the ribs in and come back longer. Good. And then come down to cat position, hands and knees. All right, so hands and knees. The hands are just below shoulders, knees and feet hip width apart. And I want you to just enjoy this one because it can be so powerful. Inhale, let the heart reach a little forward. And then exhale and really pull that lowest, low belly in and round the back. So if your back is tight, like mine is, cat-cow is still a very important pose. And inhale, come up. Exhale and curl. Good, and then come back to center and go back into downward facing dog. So you can start out slow, pop the tail. Good, get longer. Good, make sure your fingers are stretching. You're extending some energy out, like you have little lights coming out of your fingers. That your back feels good. Reconfigure for another moment, about 3 more breaths here. And then go ahead and start to walk your feet forward. You're going to come forward into a lunge, or I'm sorry, into forward bend. And then we'll come into a lunge. All right, so in forward bend, let your head hang. As soon as your head hangs, you know how tight the back of your legs are, right? That's the superficial back line. Kind of play around with your feet here for a minute and just see if you can squeeze the 4 corners of the feet into the floor. So that's the big toe metatarsal, underneath the big toe, little toe bone underneath the little toe, outer edge of the heel, inner edge of the heel. So 4 points for each foot. Squeeze. Good. Now with all that squeezing, squeeze down into the floor, bend the knees a little, and then squeeze all the leg muscles at once. If you feel, you can pay attention which muscle group is not working, right? I can feel that it's my right inner thigh. That's the one group that is like, meh, right? All right, then bend into the knees, take your hands beside the heels, and take your right leg back into a lunge. So lift the tail, squeeze to the center, come back. You can see front knee 90 degrees, right? It's not overshooting, otherwise it look like this. So you come right into that center and then squeeze your gluteus muscles more. We have a different idea sometimes of what it means to be in the pose. The alignment is the most important piece. So once the alignment is gone, then the protection that it gives you is gone. Go ahead and lift forward. Good. Come back to the center, forward bend. Inhale, this time come up so that your back is flat. That could mean a couple of things. It could mean that you're lifting way up, that's fine. Or you could still be touching, but your shoulder blades are on the back. Then bend into the knees, hands beside the heels, left leg back. Good. And this is one, especially for you guys who I haven't seen in person, hand beside the heel is our measuring tool, right? It's like a ruler. So if my hands were back here, I would be tending to go a different direction. So if hands are right beside the heel, then I know that I have to keep all that together. Lift up a little, play around with your butt a little, I guess, then come back to center. And then you can go ahead and hop and forward. Inhale again, lift up halfway, melt the heart. Exhale and bow, curl. When you're curling, notice which one of your feet decides it's going to do something else. So go back to the 4 corners, press the 4 corners in. For me, that time it was my left inner arch. I decided it wanted to like lift up and sickle to the side. Okay, and then you can come down to the floor. All right, so we're going to do threading the needle with the legs. So sometimes we do the arms. I think it's called the same thing. So I'll show you. You're going to be on your back, then you're going to cross a leg over. So it looks like this. See that? So once you're there, it's kind of like, it's rocking the baby, but on your back. Okay, so take one leg over, okay, and then you flex both feet. Okay, so if you look at your legs, it should look just like if you were doing rocking the baby. Okay, Then you're gonna hold with your hands the back of your leg that's not crossed over. So I didn't give you, so if your right leg is on top, then you're holding the back of your left thigh. Yeah, okay. And then depending on how this feels for you, right? Because this could feel like not too much. If it doesn't feel too bad, then what your work can be is to draw the legs closer to you. Okay. And then you use your elbow to push that top leg open. So if it's your right leg is on top, and I'm using my right elbow to kind of force lightly my leg open away from me just a little. So we're just creating space. Take a couple of breaths. I'm gonna assume, because I don't want anybody to get up and turn on their audio, this is a lot of work. And then you can start to release. Okay, give me a thumbs up if that was at least a 5 to 10 hardness. All right, yeah. All right, so let's do the other side. So you cross over, then you bring your legs up. And I can already tell this is the hard side for me. So it could have been the other side for you. And you got your hands on the back of your thigh, whatever leg is on the bottom. Okay. And then remember, there's that overstretching possibility, right? So what we do is, instead of forcing and pulling, so if your left gluteus is really pulling and really tight, pull your stomach in more deeply to the floor before you even make any other decisions. That's how the core works for us. So you're squeezing your stomach, squeezing your back down to the floor, and you can see that that tightness that felt not good, that's kind of, it dissipates, right? Just because all of a sudden we tuned back into our core. And then if you feel comfortable, you can start to pull the legs a little closer to you and keep that squeeze going through the gluteus muscles. You can feel some different things. Okay, and then you can unwind.
All right. Does anybody have anything they want to say? Okay. If you do, go ahead and unpause. If you don't, go into down dog. Unless you've got like crazy sirens or something, you can unmute yourself if you'd like to. Okay. So you're in down dog. Lucy, pull your low back up and long. Mm-hmm. All right. So once you've gotten a good stretch in down dog, then we're going to come down onto knees and elbows. Okay. So I am facing you this way because I want you to see my arms. You're going to have elbows directly underneath the shoulders, and then your fingers will be interlaced. Okay, and we're doing tripod plank. All right, so sideways, what that means is that you're going to go with your arms are in the same position and walk the legs back. And watch, I'm going to pull my stomach in and make sure that my back is protected, but my tail stays high. See, tail is high. If I'm down here, it's going to suck for a long time. Up here. Okay. And you're just working on elbows. This is for core, right? So while you're focusing on core pulling in, you can also draw the shoulder blades onto the back and then squeeze the elbows isometrically more toward one another.
They're not gonna move because you've got all your weight on them, but they can draw into the center. Good. Keep pulling your stomach in, ribs in. Yes. Heels reaching back. Good. Then keep your arms the same. You're gonna start to stretch a little bit back, and you can walk your feet forward into dolphin. So dolphin is down dog with your arms in this position. And then we're gonna do it again. So unlike plank and down dog, where you don't move the feet, in tripod to dolphin, you do have to move the feet. So you're gonna come forward to plank, tripod, plank again. That low belly, really working. Good. Tripod into down, or dolphin, sorry. Down dolphin. And then this one leads into Pinchamayurasana, which we can play with if anybody wants to stay at the end. Good. And then one more, come forward, tripod plank. I bet there's a few of you guys on here who have never done dolphin and tripod plank. Yes. Remember I said it was for core? Well, it also does your arms, so that's good. Walk back, dolphin, last one. And then you can come down onto your knees.
All right, how's everybody doing? Good? All right, so we're going Uttanasana, forward bend into a half standing split next, and then we'll work our way through Utkatasana.
All right, so you're coming into a forward bend. And then you're gonna lift, once you feel like you're all set in forward bend, you're gonna just lift your right leg straight behind you. It's gonna be just about perpendicular. Mine's gonna be a little higher. You don't wanna be in a whole split, you're just going half. Because then I want you to find your gluteus muscles of the right leg. So if your right leg is up in the air, move around until you can feel gluteus muscles working. And then keep that. You can let your head hang, that is okay. And then you can come down with that leg, and we'll do the other side. So, remember our goal in this one, this time, not every time, but in this time, I want you to feel gluteus muscles. So you have to move around just right with that back leg, and then you'll find them. And then squeeze them. Good, one more time on each side. So put that leg down, right leg again. Good, move around till you find the glutes. You can even reach back with your opposite hand and touch your gluteus muscles, see if that's working. And then last time, last side. So the left leg goes up. Squeeze your butt. If you're not sure, reach back with your right hand and feel if your gluteus muscles are working, if your butt is strong and tight. And then you can bring that leg down. Okay, I think I need to sit for a second. How about you guys? All right. So, I'm gonna do Utkatasana next. So, I'm sorry, I lied. We're gonna do Utkatasana in just a moment. I'm gonna do boat pose. So, I'll face to the side here. All right, so go ahead and bend your knees. And then take your hands into your knee pits. Lift the heart. Okay.
So we're sitting here, we're gonna lift up, let the feet lift. So the feet are off the floor. Okay, and you can stretch your toes out. Like that. Not stretched, stretch. Okay, and then keep lifted. Take your hands out if you would like to. Right, if this is already hard enough, stay here. And if you're able, stretch the legs out. Holding kittens. And then come back in. Okay. And then out. And then in. One more. Out. Smile, stretch your toes. Good. And then come back in. Okay, come forward, stand up. Inhale, lift up halfway, melt the heart. Exhale, bow. Good, sit back into your deep chair, Utkatasana, and take your arms up overhead. So your tail is popped here. Pull that stomach way in. And then see if you can start to expand. So there's an extension and expansion happening in your low to mid back. Extend first and then expand. Then come back down to the floor. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bow. Good, sit down to the floor. Yeah, so we're gonna do our beach chair. So this is not as relaxing as a beach chair. You're gonna take your legs out straight. Okay, and then interlace your hands behind your head. Okay, sit up really straight first. This is Dandasana. Okay, and then you're squeeze your gluteus muscles that you just found down into the floor. Pull your stomach in, root your heels, and see if you can lie back into your chair. That is non-existent. This is hard. 3 more breaths. Extend if you can. And then you can come back up. Cross the legs a little, come forward. And you're back to forward bend. And we have one more Utkatasana for this. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale and bow. Good. Take your hands, I think let me come a little closer. Take your hands on one thigh, one on each side of the thigh, and you're gonna push your inner thigh back and like pull like your butt open. So you're twisting your thigh in just a little. So yeah, pushing and pulling. Okay, and then other side, you're kind of wringing yourself out a little bit here. Good. That should help even out the pulling. If you feel like you need to do it more on one side where you can start to feel like your muscles are like, wow, that's tighter than I thought, right? That's okay. Sometimes you need to use your hands to feel what's going on. Okay, then once you're ready, sit back into your deep chair again. Okay, lift the heart, take your arms up overhead. Squeeze your gluteus muscles more. And then you can come all the way up to standing. And then up, since you're up there, let's go ahead and do
a side stretch. So keep your arms really high and push your heels way down. Now, when you push your heels way down, you're really doing it with your stomach. So your stomach will pull in as your heels reach. Then go ahead and start to take the hips to the right, upper body to the left. Gaze a little bit up toward the right sky. And come back up. Other side. Julie Powers, your dog looks like a fox. And one more time on each side. Other side. Good. And the last one. Other side. And you can come back to center and release your arms. Okay.
So, does anybody have any questions? This is a lot of work. Somebody asked me something. This is where we need Diane. She's the best at this. Nothing? I love all the dogs are coming in. Your dogs are better than my dogs, though, you guys. Like, I can't do anything. Pickles just sticks her face right in my face every time.
For
Hmm?
I'll ask a question. For chair pose,
Yes, ma'am.
if should it feel heavy in your lower back? And if it does, how do you avoid that?
Can you define heavy?
Tight.
Wait, he can
Yeah.
ask a question. Move your head. I keep not knowing his. I'm gonna write his name.
Stick your head in the camera. There you
Hi.
go.
So wait, please first tell me your name because I was trying to compliment you last week and I didn't know your name.
Oh, Danny.
Dan?
Danny.
How did I miss that? All right. So Dan, tell me about your back. It's tight.
Yeah, I don't know. So this week I'm just feeling super weak in pretty much all the poses, but when extending up into the chair pose, just feels like a restriction in the back. And I think it's probably because of the hip flexors being tight, but I don't know.
When you were doing that, do you remember thinking that you were pulling your stomach in a lot or not thinking about it because your back was so tight?
The latter.
Okay. So my husband has the same problem. And when he does chair pose, I have to remind him. It's really, and this is an important thing for whenever you're trying to build a new habit. It's every 5 seconds. You have to remind yourself. So if you're in a pose, every 5 seconds that you're in that pose, you have to go, I have to pull my stomach in. I have to pull my stomach in. And so if you can build that, because I think what you're experiencing, Dan, is that your core isn't helping your low back by getting enough support. So that core, think of it, it's not just in the front of the body. Your core is the whole core, right? It's your back too. And we often forget that because there's just like some bizarre amount of muscles running in every direction all the way through to the back. So when we're on our backs, like for the sit-ups or for the bicycling, and you're pulling your stomach into the floor, you have to do that while you're standing up too. Do you think that would help?
I'll give it a try.
Okay, we can do Utkatasana again, and we'll try it. No, it's not a punishment. I'm sorry. I will tell you, she wrote in her little testimonial that she both hates and loves me on Zoom, just like in class. So thank you. Yeah. So, but it's really, you'll be surprised at how much when that support comes in, what that feels like. So great questions. Thank you. Anybody else? That was a good break. Yeah. What'd Clint say?
It's the same spot.
Same spot for you?
Same spot, yeah.
No. On chair pose?
Yeah.
No. I don't find that one that bad.
Oh, which one do you find really bad?
Which one did I not like?
Dolphin he didn't like.
I didn't like dolphin too much.
Not like dolphin. That's okay. I don't blame you. All right. Okay, so we're gonna do, we're gonna come up, we'll do one more quick Utkatasana because then we're gonna do it, yeah, with the leg crossed over too. So Ardha Chandrasana is next, and it's gonna be a longer pose to focus on glutes again, okay? All right, so come on up to standing. And then, yeah, let's do, walk your left foot a little forward. And then your left hand is gonna come forward and out to the left a little, okay? And then your back leg is gonna go up in the air. So you can see my whole body on this one, this is good. So my right hand is on my hip, okay? And I'm just pretending like I'm doing the pose. I'm not even doing the pose yet because it's a lot of work, okay? So once you get in this position, this is the 101, right? And then you can start to squeeze, you're gonna start with your left foot and really do those four corners. Oh, I forgot about Utkatasana, we'll get back there. Okay, and then you're getting that leg nice and strong on the bottom, like the tree, the trunk of the tree. Okay, then your top leg here, I want you to move that top leg around until you really find the gluteus muscles again. So this whole pose, I want you to just feel gluteus muscles, gluteus muscles, gluteus muscles.
Yeah.
You can also feel, like if you feel like your gluteus muscles are strong, but your abductors are a little loose, that's the outer edge of your thigh. You feel around there, squeeze more. You can take the top arm up to the sky if you'd like to. Bottom leg now starting to get tired, right? That's okay.
Yeah.
And then you can bring that hand down. Bring that leg slowly down there.
Couldn't see.
You can come back up. So some poses are meant for looking really amazing. Some poses are meant so that we can figure out what the heck is going on. And that's okay. Not everything is perfect. So we got to take the right leg a little bit forward, then the right hand. And then you can take that left leg back, okay? This is just the beginning pose, right? This is just learning A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, then we have to build. So now you start with your foot. And your foot is really squeezing down. You're getting inner thigh here, inner right thigh, maybe your hands. Then find that top leg, gluteus muscles, really squeezing if you can.
And her leg's straight.
Nice and strong. Another few moments where you're really extending, right? We don't have a lot of opportunity to expand because it's so much work to extend. And then you can bring that leg back down and come back up to standing. Okay, all right, so now we're gonna go back to Utkatasana. So if your low back feels really constricted in this, start with your stomach coming back into you. All right, so second toe straight ahead, feet hip width apart, hands on your hips, bend the knees, and then Eb, make sure that he pops his tail. Okay, once you pop your tail, your stomach goes really soft. Okay, so you pop the tail, your stomach gets soft, then you start pulling your muscles in your stomach in. Yeah, Eb, like help, Dan, it's okay if Eb helps you during this one. Okay. And then your stomach's pulling into your low back.
And then if it hurts right here, just stay here, right? Because this is the work, right? Where it's uncomfortable is often where your best work is. At 45, I am less concerned with how my pose looks and more concerned with how I'd like to still be walking in 40 years. Good. And then you can come back up. Okay, how is that, Dan? Any better?
Yes.
Yay! So just remember, like, as you're doing that, and don't even, like I said, you don't have to do the whole pose. You just do it all the time. I mean, we're all home kind of anyway, so that's, I mean, you don't probably want to do that one at the grocery store while you're in line or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get away with that. But you could do this one, you know, like brushing your teeth or just standing there. And you
Or
just
at the beginning of date night.
What's that?
I said, or at the beginning of date night, you know.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You bend the knees, pop your tail. Bend the knees, pop the tail, and then start pulling your stomach way in. That's the formula. Bend the knees first. As soon as, whenever I tell my husband this, I say, bend your knees, he bends his knees, then he pops his tail, then his knees go straight. You have to keep the knees bent because if you are trying to move one piece, you have to break another piece. So in order to keep your back from trying to be solid, you have to bend the knees to create that movement in there. So you bend the knees, keep them bent, pop the tail, and then start to pull your stomach into your back. And it'll probably still hurt. I mean, mine kind of is tighter than I think it's ever been. So, so yeah, and I'm a yoga teacher.
Sarah, I have a quick question.
Yes,
Knees, do they need to be together or apart on that? Because it looked like the second time you were demonstrating on the side view, it looked like they were together.
No, they weren't.
No? Okay.
But the reason that you have your knees apart in this one is, again, I mean, the knees are funky, but they do play such a big role in all of these. If your knees were together and your feet were together, your hips would be locked in place. So you wouldn't be able to shift and feel movement that way. So that's why I teach it that way. Some people like to teach everything together. I sometimes think that's just for optics, right? Just like a performance value. It looks cleaner maybe or something. All right, great questions. Okay, so we're going to do triangle pose, and then we're going to extend it into Parsvakonasana. So this is the one where we have the best possible today of extending and expanding. So because you know those poses. And so as you're thinking about, like, you extended to where you needed to be, then you don't just extend from like this line to that line, you expand like everything is opening up, okay? All right, so let's meet in forward bend. So once you're in forward bend, take a breath. Let your head hang, let your shoulders open and shift a little. Okay. And then bend into the knees, take your hands beside the heels and take your right leg back into a lunge. Okay. So there's several ways, especially new students, to get into poses, especially poses like triangle. So this is one of them. Spin the back heel down to the floor, and then you're gonna start to straighten out your front leg. So your hand might stay on the floor, or it might come up to your shin. It just can never, ever, ever go on your knee, okay? So you can do floor, or you can do higher, or you can use a block, either way, okay? Other hand to your rib cage, kind of draw your ribs into you a little, pull the stomach in, take your top arm up to the sky. Love triangle. It's such a pretty pose. Good. Now with your head, look up toward your fingers or toward your thumb so you get a little bit of neck work. Good. Then we're going to take this right into Parsvakonasana. So you're going to bend your front knee here and take your top arm palm face down overhead. Really think about that clint. Yeah. The low belly pulls in. Now, so for this one, Dan, when I just pulled my stomach in, a tiny like pop happened in my back. Like a wire got crossed out. So it's important to use the stomach even in poses where you don't think that the core is worth paying attention to. Okay. And then you can come back down, untwist the back foot, hop a little bit and come forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale and bow. Shake your head a little, yes. A little side to side. Then bend into your knees. Take your left leg back. All right, so once you're in your good lunge, spin the back heel down, and then you're going to start to stretch the front leg straighter. Your hand, which was by your heel, might move so that your elbow and your knee kind of line up. Okay, or you can have your hand on your shin. Left hand on your hip or ribs. If you got your ribs, you can kind of tuck the ribs into you a little. Take the top arm up toward the sky. Couple more breaths here, just allowing the back to open up. See, you're extending. Think about how you can expand out too. How your heart opens, how your back opens, what that feels like. Then bend into the front knee. Hand comes by the heel again. Palm spins down toward the floor and you stretch long overhead. And then you can spin back down to the floor, unspin the back foot, hop your way forward, back to forward bend. And then you can come down to sitting. Okay, how's everybody doing? Good, okay.
I have
So,
a question.
ooh, who's that, Amy?
Yeah.
Hi.
So when I do triangle pose and I straighten that front leg, my hips have a tendency to push out. Is that normal, or should I be trying to keep them vertical, so to speak?
I think that you would, as you are stretching, if you feel like it's going way out to the side, you would squeeze your gluteus muscles to keep them from just shooting out.
It doesn't shoot out. It's a very gradual, like as I stretch my front leg, it gradually goes that way. I'd say maybe a quarter of an inch or something, not like a real far way out, just enough so I notice that it's going that way.
How about this question? Does it feel like your side crunches at all?
No.
Can I model that to see if you can see what I mean?
Sure.
Just in case? Okay. Okay, so let me think about this. Okay, I'll do this one. Okay. So when I stretch, right, it doesn't want to go that way. It needs to stay this way. The four corners of the foot need to stay down. That might help. Okay, and then if I'm here, see if I get crunchy, let me show you. Get crunchy, I get this like roll. Instead, I'm lifting and stretching up. So that's gonna
My
keep
foot.
it from going out.
It's my foot. If I press my four corners of my foot, it doesn't do that. So it's my foot.
It's your foot. So the foot is just kind of like, it's amazing. It directs traffic. So as you remember how we were doing in forward bend and I had you hold onto your thigh and twist it like like a few minutes ago. If you do that, you can do that during triangle too, where you twist out, but then squeeze your butt back in. And so you start with your foot, build from there, twist that thigh in, and your butt will be in the right place. Yay. Fantastic. Yes, Jerry.
Follow-up. I think my side does get crunchy. Is if it's not my foot, is that also possibly because I need a block? Or not really?
Yeah, you can have a block. You could try it out with a block and see what that does. But what you want to be able to do is sideways stretch from your hips up like toward your armpits, like in down dog.
Gotcha. So it's not up vertically, it's up torso.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's why triangle and down dog are master poses, because there's always a good question about them. So
thanks.
Yay. Okay. So we did remember rock the baby. So now we got to go back to rock the baby. I feel like our hips are really getting it today. So, which is good. All right. So we're back to here. Okay. And you're going to pick up your foot. And see, I can already pick my leg up a whole lot higher. Right? It's always good to know where you started. Who was that? Somebody told me that they had their hearing tested. Oh, it was my neighbor. When she was 60, she went and had her hearing tested because she wanted to know what it was when she was 60 so that by the time she was 70, she would know she was losing her hearing. And I was like, that is so smart. Like, I never would have thought of that. So you're holding, some of you are holding this way. Now you can rock the baby. Oh. How is this? Is this okay for everybody, or does it hurt like it hurts me? Meh, okay. All right, now we're gonna start to lift. Remember, you can't do nose to your toes. That doesn't count. You're rocking toes to your nose. And smile. Yep, this is Dan putting our leg behind our head prep. I can't see Dan's face though. That's disappointing. Then she toes to the forehead. Good. Amy, that's so good for you. Yes, Clint, you're doing great. All right, and then slowly rock your way back down. Oh, good. And then just for a second, just keep this leg and just move it around in its socket, right? Because we forget we're animals. I dated a guy who was a rolfer, structural integrations, trying to get this other leg. And he was doing his training, and so we went out to eat, and like every piece of meat, he like pointed out the qualities of this, the bone, where the bone was, the fascia, muscles, tendons. I'm surprised I ever ate again after that dinner. Oranges are very interesting. So, but we're just bodies with a whole bunch of stuff that is awesomely working inside of us. Keep it that way. All right, you ready to go toes to the nose? Yeah. It's always harder on one side. And toes to the forehead, still rocking. Okay, and then back down, and then just move that leg in its socket. So we're getting juicy, right? This is the, when you take your car to get an oil change and a lube job. This is the lube job. There's a lot of car and yoga analogies too. So it never gets old. Okay, now we're doing fire logs. Okay, so you're gonna take your left or right. Let's do left leg in front. I'm not sure if I'm mirrored to you, I'm sorry. So your left leg is in front and your foot is like at a 90-degree angle here. I'm gonna hold the camera funny. Okay, like that. Then I'm gonna take my other leg over, cross, and hook. So my legs are like that. They're stacked like fire logs. If this is too much, threading the needle on your back is what you wanna do. So that was what we did before. You just lay on your back and pull your leg up. You can see Kristen's going for it. Yeah, so she's gonna do the same pose that we did before. This is okay. So either way, you can do this one or that one. Okay, now if you're like this, and you can see my knee is kind of high, I'm gonna take my hand into my hip crease, show you. Take my hand up into my hip crease and push. When I push, my knee goes down. See, I don't push my knee down. I go way up here into my hip, and that's where I push. Good. Julie, see if you can get your foot to hook up here for you. So yes, exactly. Now see, yep, keep doing that. Keep hooking. This goes into, this is for, is it Galavasana? Yeah, Galavasana is the arm balance like this. So you really gotta make sure you work with the toes and the hook so that you can do the arm balance. I can show you if you want.
What if my knee's already down?
Oh, you just have the Athena problem of being like, I don't know, what's this about? So you can come, Amy, toward me like that with your face, and it should get harder. Is it getting harder? Okay, good. The other thing you can do that's kind of fun is take your hands, your palms to your feet like this, and push your hands and your feet together and smile, because this is really tough. Yes, Jeremy, good. Good. Yay, Olga. Good. How are your knees doing, Olga? Oh, she's on mute, but she said sad things and then smiled. So I'm assuming, oh, communicating like this. Oh, as I have thumbs up. Okay, that's good. All right, and then you can come back up. This is gonna be a doozy for your hips, y'all. You gotta drink a lot of water after this one. Good. Cross over that leg. So remember, my knee was like at a 90-degree angle. I need a drone photo for this one. Come over. Good. And then these feet, see, this is the thing, Julie, and I'll see if I can even pretend like I'm doing Galavasana in a minute. So you're gonna take your hand, I take it like this, and then go for the whole hip crease, and I push. Sometimes it's not about, especially for you guys who don't consider yourselves to be flexible, it's really not about just flexibility. It's knowing how to get there, right? It's about knowing what the work is. You can't just say to someone, just do the work, you know, like I can't touch my toes, and somebody says, just keep trying to touch your toes and you'll eventually get there, is not the same as saying how you should get there. Good. So Amy, you can come forward. You can do hands to your, to the soles of your feet. If you would like to, take some breaths. Yeah, so like Julie and Olga, you can see that you two are mother and daughter right now. So something to consider, right? Also, who has does anybody have arthritis in their knees? Thumbs up to that, okay. which is a thumbs down. I mean, a thumbs up to that is definitely a thumbs down. So I have arthritis in my knee too, one of them, and you can come out. And so you go to the doctors, they say there's nothing to do about that. But I did find a pill at, I do this because it's not really a pill. It's at Nature Time. There's ginger and turmeric. And if my knee starts to hurt, I take 2 of those pills and it goes away. So I'm just putting that out there. So I will bring the bottle in, Olga, if you give me a thumbs up. Do you want to see the bottle? Yeah, you guys all want to see the bottle? Okay. All right. So next is, let's see who I got on here. Go ahead, Lucy, go flat onto your stomach. Okay. Bend your knees and then reach back for your ankles. So everybody get into Lucy's position for Dhanurasana. I'm gonna go get my bottle. So, and then once you're in that position, you can push up. Good. Yes, keep pushing your heels higher toward the sky. Yes, good, Julie. And then pull your stomach in and then propel your heart up and forward. Yes. Oh, that's good, Amy. Yes, good, Clinton, Kristen. Yay. Sometimes I can only see feet, so to guess on those. And then you can come down. And then you can sit back up. I'll show you my bottle. And then we're going to do 2 more things before we're done. Okay, so this is the bottle over here. This way, okay. Zyflamend whole body. So I will try to send a picture. Who all wanted it? It was Clinton, Kristen, and then Olga, right? I can send you a picture of it on Facebook Messenger. It has rosemary, turmeric, ginger, holy basil, green tea, and then some other stuff. But it really does make a difference. So, and they said, oh, arthritis. Well, I guess you can get a shot when it gets to be unbearable. I was like, thank you for your help. Very useful. Okay. So come open your legs wide from where you're sitting now. This. Okay. All right. So now that you're like that, you're gonna lift your heart forward. Now this is hard all by itself. Yeah, if you're in a room with a person, you might have to move around. Start to squeeze your butt now. Okay. If you let your butt just kind of like drop, is not useful. You can try pulling your buttocks out from beneath of you, but it's really just about squeezing. You're also squeezing your hamstrings, which is the back of your thigh. You're squeezing those into the floor. Okay. Then take your hands, like we did for double pigeon, which is fire logs, and push down as you lift your heart a little forward. This is so hard, so hard. Toes are strong, good at attention. You can see Lucy's toes are good. Can't see my toes. Okay, then come up. So I want you to be very careful and thoughtful about this. You're gonna take your right arm out and you're gonna move it over to the left, toward the left toe. So we're kind of doing a little twist. You might reach your toes, you might just go for the ankle. Once you get it, pull your stomach back in. You don't have to, if your hand is up in the air, you can just drop it to wherever it falls onto your leg. Good. And you can come back up. Okay, and we'll do the opposite. So left arm goes out. Squeeze your butt before you move. Squeeze. Pull your stomach in. Go over to the opposite side. Just take a breath here. And then you can come back up. All right. And then you can come onto your backs. So I feel like we've done a tremendous amount. So we're just gonna do a little bit of rocking on our backs here, and then we'll go right into relaxation. So many good questions today. All right, when you're ready, go ahead and start to stretch your legs out and take your arms open for Shavasana. Yeah, if you need still a stretch or a twist, you can do that. And as soon as you're ready, allowing your body to really start to sink down, right? As much extending and expanding, we also need time for processing information. Our body needs time. This is what Shavasana is. It's time to process everything that just happened. So as you start to come down, right, you start to scan your body and note where you're holding something away from the floor, right? It could be a muscle, it could be a bone, it could be a feeling of like it's an organ. It could even be just an emotional or spiritual feeling of tenseness or tension. It could be your breath. So see if you can find wherever you're constricting or compressing so that you can move past that, so that you can expand. And then once you've found that, start to allow maybe your mind will start to imagine how you're expanding, how your body expands with the breath, how your mind expands, what a cell looks like as it grows and expands. Fingers and toes coming slowly back. And you can start to wiggle a little bit, fingers and toes. Take a nice long stretch.
way over your head, out through your fingers and toes. You can yawn. Pull your knees to your chest as you use your arm as a pillow to roll to your right side. Fetal position. Good. My mind tells me I am nothing. My heart tells me I am everything. Between the two, my life flows. As you feel ready, use your left arm to come slowly pushing you up to sitting. Coming back to your breath. And we'll do one more to close our class. So we'll take a nice deep inhale. Exhale all the way. And our silent inhale. Silent Om. Back to your breath. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming to class. Namaste. And you can namaste each other if you'd like to. Good. You can take yourselves off mute if you'd like. Yay. Hey, Amy, how's your shoulder?
Even like when we were doing triangle pose and I had my arm up, I still feel the tightness
Yeah.
in that muscle. And it's crazy to me that when I'm in triangle pose, that's what bothers me.
So you need actually somebody's elbow to stick in there. I'll show you a tool. Oh,
I have this back thing that I use.
You have the cane?
Yes.
Yeah, use that.
I do use that. And I've been doing thread the needle because I find that stretches it too.
Also, do more push-ups.
Oh, great. Just what I've always wanted to do.
Well, it'll get so something that I think is really interesting is that people forget that they need to both strengthen something and stretch it, and strengthen and stretch. So there can be that overstretch moment, which you could have done, or you could have done it funny. It's hard to know. But if you have that overstretch moment and you keep trying to stretch it, it makes it worse. It feels better in the moment, and then it hurts more. And so my yoga teacher, I had done something and I was like, I just kept stretching it and stretching it and stretching it. I was really young. And I was like, and then it hurts more. And she goes, stop stretching. I'm like, I just kept trying the same thing. And so I would say probably it's more push-ups. Sorry. Or lifting weights. I keep in my kitchen on my counter. Everybody hates it but me, but I have 8-pound weights on the kitchen counter. So that when I'm making coffee or whatever, I can just lift weights. So they're in everybody else's way, but I think it's important. So,
I've also been trying to be mindful of how I'm sitting at my desk at work, because I think that's what started the whole problem, was sitting at my desk. And then, so I've been trying to be mindful of sitting up straight and not hunching over.
For creating a new habit, it's every 5 seconds. For maintaining good structure, it's every 30 minutes. You have to change.
So you could set your, like, if you get really like glommed into something, set your phone timer 30 minutes, and then you have to get up and stretch and move, because we tend to like sink
Right.
into some bad thing. You just have to undo it every 30 minutes is the rule.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try setting a timer and
Stand up, do Utkatasana, stretch your arms, take some deep breaths. It's a smoke break, y'all. The smokers always got the breaks when we worked in a restaurant. And so I eventually just started going on smoke breaks. I didn't smoke. I just would go out because they were the only people who got a break. And that was not fair. And so luckily I didn't decide to take up smoking so that I could take a smoke break. That is chicken or the egg right there. You don't have to do that. So, but making sure that you get that 30 minutes where you get to take a deep breath and stretch around. So, yay. Anybody else have thoughts?
No.
I put my Black Lives Matter sign is out in my yard now. So I just don't want you to think I just moved it and got rid of it. It was there.
We just found about 5 of the rainbow signs with Black Lives Matter and all the other things written on them in our very, very, very red neighborhood. And it made my heart so happy yesterday.
Ooh. I ordered one. I haven't gotten to go pick it up yet, but in Cazenovia, which, you know, is just such a small town. When I moved here like 12, 13 years ago, people didn't even put political signs at all in their front yard. Nothing. You like didn't announce who you were via anything. So there's 6 rainbow flags on the main street. And then 5 Black Lives Matter yard signs. It's really something. It's and then I've been in touch with some of my yoga students who went to Cass College, who have graduated, to find out their experience here, so that I can bring that to the attention of the new group that we're forming. And Cass College, they wrote out, they're doing a big thing where a bunch of people are going to go out on Tuesday and hold up placards where you just have one letter that spells Black Lives Matter to show that that the town is coming together with the students, because that's a weird combo out here, is that we live in this very predominantly white town where there's the school that is it draws a lot of kids from the city, and so they manage pretty much to stay on campus so that they're not in the village, and but they are. And so being able to blend, it's just strange. I don't know. I miss being on campus because I got to meet so many more people. But I think it would be a really awesome occurrence if we can get to that place. And so do my yoga students who moved on. So they're like, what? They had how many people for a march? Really? So something. So anybody else? So yeah, you are released if you would like to go. I've been doing tons of race work, and you know, starting this new group. And I was just telling Lucy at the beginning, there's an article that is you know, it's entitled "While We Suffer, White People Start Book Clubs." So you know, making sure that we don't get stuck in a book club rut is important. So action is important. Extension and expansion. So yeah, good. Well, if anybody needs for me to tell them what their work should be or could be in race work, I am now appointing myself as the person who's white who you can come and ask. So, don't ask Eb. She will punch you. I will punch you and then she'll punch you. No, but it's important, as you know, as you start to do your race work, you become that person who you can tell other people what to do because they don't know. And until they know, they keep trying to ask people who don't really want to answer that question anymore. So, yes, Eb agrees. Well, oh, and I'll try to send the picture. If I forget the picture of my ginger turmeric pills, then
Thank you.
yeah, it's serious business. They're really good. And arthritis is stupid. It hurts. I don't like it at all. So yeah, if my knees like touch each other, I instantly feel exactly where the arthritis is. And I thought arthritis was like had a bone on bone, like that I would feel it that way, but it's not like that. It's like a pinpoint on my knee that just hurts.
It did something to his knee and it hasn't been the same since.
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
Knees suck. When I went to a yoga, well, it was a Rolfing guy who taught a yoga workshop, and he said if he could ask God one question, it would be why the knee? They don't make sense. They are just like, they don't work right. We're not supposed to be walking on two legs. We're supposed to be on all fours still. That's what it is. So they aren't built for weight. They aren't built for pressure the way that we use them. And the best thing is to do like a soft, like walking is really good for your knees, because the joint moves like how I'm moving my hands, and it doesn't do that if you like stop in a pose. So Olga, this is important. If you're doing a pose and it's long, make sure to move just a little bit within the pose, like you don't just stay still, because there's no synovial fluid that gets to your knee, and then it just gets like sort of stuck there again. So you want to make sure that you're getting that soft. And so what you could do, Clint, is you could stand and like hold on to the edge of your desk or the edge of your bed or whatever, or like the bed pull, because I see what like height wise, and then just let your knee go back and forth like it's swinging like a pendulum kind of. You have to give it a little weight as it swings, so you're like slow, and it'll get that fluid moving. The knees they're not very good at like rehabbing themselves. So
I just run up the stairs at work.
Does that help? Or
it hurts, but it gets better.
Okay. I think maybe would be good too. Yeah. But once you mess up your knee, it's kind of you're kind of in a different position, especially age-wise, you know?
No.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's why I tell Kristen I'm old, getting old and fat.
All right. Well, if anybody has anything else to tell me, I'll stay here till everybody is ready.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you. Oh, no class next Saturday, but then we do have the last class of the session the following Saturday after that. The 11th is our next class. Bye, Eb. Bye, Dan.
Thank you.
Bye, Olga. Bye, Jeremy. Bye, Amy. Bye, Ariana. Bye, Julie. Bye, Clinton, Kristen.
Bye.
Bye.
I have to go to my parents, so I'll say goodbye. Have
Yeah.
I said hi.
Have a great day.
You too, Dara. Thank you so
People.
much, Dara. Thanks.
All right. Bye, everybody.